everybody, it's Wolfgang back with the Dorkfish Collection reviews on the Neca Terminator 2 Judgment Day T800. Man, I gotta say, I really like this figure. I really like the Neca line, the Terminators, the Predators, the Aliens. Their entire movie line is just fantastic. But I grew up with Terminator. I grew up with Terminator 2 specifically. Love that movie. And so I had to get a hold of this figure when I first saw it. It's an amazing figure. And so I hope you really enjoy this review. Let's check it out together and see how it came out. All right, here we are with him out of package. And man, he is stunning. The detail work is amazing with this figure. So I got him holding the shotgun from that infamous scene where he's coming down the hallway. And he's got the roses, the box, and he opens it up and he cocks the gun and he shoots the other Terminator. And that is perhaps my favorite scene of the entire movie, because honestly, that's the first scene that struck me as a child when I first saw this movie, was that scene where he confronted the other Terminator at the concert with the gun in hand. I mean, just an amazing scene. Of course, if you know the movies, you know it's iconic. You know what it's about. So we got, first off, we're going to talk about accessories here. The first few weapon accessories he comes with, he's got his shotgun, which of course he has in hand. We've got down here, we've got his cannon, not his cannon, his, I want to say Gatlin mini. It's a minigun. I think it's a minigun. My brother would know. I do not. All I know is it shoots a lot of rounds. And he's got a huge ammo bag for it. Fits snugly over the shoulder. Looks nice. He handles and carries it very well. Of course, we'll get some shots of him holding it here soon. We got him with his hand cannon right here. Him with his pistol. Got some of his reload for the hand cannon around his neck. So pretty good amount of accessories. He also has two heads, which we're going to do some details on. So the first head we're going to do a close-up on here in a second is the shaded head, the classic Arnie Terminator head. So let's get a close-up on that. And there we have it, a close-up of that head. And man, it's a beautiful sculpt. Just the way the line work is across the forehead, chin. You've got just a beautiful, beautiful likeness of Arnie. The detail on the hair, the way the shades look, they're glossy compared to the matted skin to give it that actual sunglasses shades appearance is just amazing. Turn it to the side, you've got details inside of the ear there. Again, the line work on the hair, you've got a nice wash, a dark wash in there on the brown, just to make all the hair follicles pop. I mean, just so well done. Good little bit of shading, not a huge amount, but just a touch, just what's needed to make the things like the cheekbones, the jawline very pronounced on the figure, to keep in likeness with Arnie. And then the way the lip work is done in proportion to the nose, of course, and then the coloring on the lips and the rest of the skin. Absolutely amazing. So well done on this particular head sculpt. Phenomenal. Just looks just like them. And that's something that I have to credit Neca for. They're so good with their likenesses. When you look at a head sculpt, it's so detailed, so well textured, so well sculpted. And the washes are usually so amazing that the likenesses are uncanny, and you're going to see that with these next two head sculpts are phenomenal. So let's get to the next two head sculpts. All right, and here we got the next head sculpt. It is Arnie without the shades, so you can see the eyes, you can see the full brow, you can see all the little details around the nostril and the top of the brow, by the cheek. You can see all the details you need to get a hold of. And my God, it's such a good job done. Man, I am so impressed. I mean, if you take a picture of Arnie and you put it next to him, you're going to be impressed looking at it. Still well done. Still a really good wash. In comparison, I'm going to hold another head up here to the other hair on this sculpt here. So very consistent it looks. Maybe a little less shading or a little less wash on the second sculpt here. But in terms of comparison, they're still pretty consistent. Very, very happy with it. Still very well done. Definitely the likeness of Arnie. So let's get to that third head sculpt. And here we are with the third head sculpt. And this one may honestly be the best head sculpt of the figure pack. And probably one of the best head sculpts that Nick has put out. The detail, as you can clearly see, is phenomenal. The way the ripped skin looks, the blood red features, the metallic underneath, the Terminator, the eye showing through, a very plain face, of course, compared to their sculpts, very stone-like, very soulless, and they captured that so well. Arnie was really good at that in the movie, and that's something I really appraised, is when you look back at the first two movies and the way Arnie acted was how he was able to present himself as cold and calculated and soulless as a machine. And this figure nails that look that he had, and it really shows in this sculpt how well they work and how hard they put all their work into these processes to make these figures the way they do. I mean, just look at the detail work. I mean, they don't sacrifice the shading. They don't sacrifice anything on the other head sculpts to make this one good. Every one of them stands in their own right, and every one of them is key to this figure. So I'm so impressed, super impressed. Amazing work done. So yeah, just a phenomenal figure, and I'm really happy with him. So let's get a look a little bit at the body. Okay, so there you have it. You see the back of the figure, and it's just a phenomenal sculpt. This is what Neca is good at. They don't make figures necessarily that you play with. It's not like a Marvel Legend, but that's also why they charge the price point they charge. So yeah, no, it's not a Marvel Legend, but that's the beauty of it, is Neca is so good with their sculpt, so good with making the figure film accurate and giving you your bang for your buck. That it's not just like some figures where you got a great look from the front, but the back is kind of muddy. No, they detail the figure 360. Look at the bullet holes. Look at the wrinkling in the jacket. Some of the wash and the weathering, the aged look. Just amazing through and through. The detail work and the line work to make the jacket look like it's stitched. The belt here, the way they detailed the belt. Absolutely amazing. And you'll see that when you do the front as well. I mean, they don't sacrifice anywhere. Not in the paint. Whoop. There we go. They don't sacrifice anywhere at all. Not in the paint, not in the sculpt, nothing. I mean, look at the belt here. The belt, they still got the silver detail. They've got the shading in there on the chest along with the coloring. I mean, it's just the texture. They textured the shirt. It's just phenomenal. So they did not sacrifice. They spared no expense on this. And that's what I really appreciate, is figures like this that Neca puts out where they don't sacrifice. They make the figure phenomenal, and so it's well worth the price range, obviously. For articulation on this figure, like we said, we got a double ball peg in the neck. It does allow it to move up. You can look a good way up, down. Of course, it's at the base of the neck, the shoulders, obviously not the top of the neck. You've got a little bit of play, which is nice. So rotate it around, turns just fine. It's a little stiff, and most Neca figures are with most of their joints. But again, it's meant to be posed and positioned and placed and left there. It's not really meant to be played with per se. So their articulation is just fine. And how stiff they are holds the position very nicely. So I'm not too upset about that. No ab crunch. And you'll notice in some figures they have ab crunches. They have abdominal areas cut. This one does not. This one doesn't even have a ball joint in the center area of the waist towards the crotch. But I'm okay with that. You don't really need it with this figure. It turns just fine. Shoulder joints, a little stiff. Can almost meet out perfectly. Not quite, though. Can rotate, of course, all the way around. So not quite all the way out. This shoulder is a little stiffer. And that's the one thing about Neca. I'm a little more careful with pushing their joints, because I'm always afraid something's going to break. But rotates just fine. The elbow joint, as you see, about 90 degrees, give or take. Rotates just fine right there at the forearm. For if you need to do something like him holding a gun, you've got that right there. You've got a wrist swivel, but no hinge on this figure. Some do, some don't. This one, even if it had a hinge, would be hindered by the cuff of the jacket. So no need for it. It's fine. No big deal. So we talked about the swivel here. Now the actual legs. It's on the T joint, so you know they kind of are attached, but is what it is. But can kick out mostly. See, this is a soft rubber piece over the top of the actual joint underneath, so you get a little bit of play with that. Kick out pretty far, all things considering. So if you want to do a scene, an action scene of him kicking down a door or something like that, you've got it. But not necessarily necessary, so not bad. Comes out all the way. I mean, you can do almost the full splits with them. You gotta be careful pushing, but yeah, look at that full split Terminator. Pretty funny, but good movement there, and it's on it feels like a click joint, like it locks into place almost when you move it to a certain point. So it could be a click joint, not sure. Knee, single joint, same as the elbow. Got a back, and I didn't discuss this, but you got a back covering on the elbow. You got a front covering on the knee to kind of cover it up. Not bad at all. You do have, and I missed this, you do have a thigh swivel, and you have a swivel at the knee joint. So not bad. I'm very hesitant to see why you would use the swivel on the knee joint. I don't know what that's for, but I'm not complaining about it. It's extra articulation since we don't have a double knee. And I could see why they wouldn't, with them wanting to be as film accurate as they want to be, I could see why they wouldn't use a double knee because it would create too many gaps. So I'm not mad about the gaps on this at all. So I shouldn't say gaps on it. I'm not mad about this version of articulation for this because it leaves less room for mistakes and more room for sculpting. So now we have, I thought I saw something, but I surely didn't. And it's true, on this side, which is weird, I don't know functionally the reason why, but you have a mid-calf swivel right there. You do not on the other leg. If someone would care to chime in and tell me why, I don't get it. Maybe both legs were supposed to be that way. Maybe not. I don't know. So if anyone wants to tell me why, I'm more than open to hearing it. But you've got kind of a limited, I think is a ball peg in the ankle. I think it's a ball peg. In fact, I'm certain it's a ball peg, but it's not a double. So the way the pants are sculpted, you lose a little bit of articulation, but like I said earlier, it's more for the sculpt than the articulation. So I'm not mad about that at all. It does go up a decent way. It goes down not very far. Kind of turn it. So yeah, that's your articulation on the figure. Not bad articulation, not the best in the world, but hey, still pretty good. So right quick, I feel the need to correct myself. I did say that this was just a swivel on the wrist. I'm wrong, and I don't know why I'm wrong. I should have known this from the start. All Necas are like this. It's a ball peg. It's a ball peg in there on the hand, wrist, I should say. So yeah, it's a ball peg in there. It can move around. This one a little better can show you. It can kind of up and down and swivel, but it is not just a swivel. It's not that simple. It is a ball peg. Either way, still kind of limited because of the cuff of the jacket, but worth correcting to make sure that I'm as accurate as possible for you guys, because you guys are watching this review and I appreciate that. So want to make sure I do it right the first time for you. With that being said, I'm going to bring this review to an end, but I want to thank everybody who's watched this review from start to finish. I encourage you to like, please share, please subscribe, please check out my channel, support it. I'm not asking you to pay for it. No Patreon, no paying. I just want you to support it by giving me likes, giving me shares, telling other people about me. Overall, I think this was a phenomenal figure. It's a favorite buy of mine. Probably one of my favorite NECA figures in my collection. I hope you guys like it. If you do, let me know in the comments down below. If you don't like it, let me know why. I'm open to conversation. I want to hear from you guys. So with that being said, I'm going to call this a day. You guys enjoy. Deuces.